Hey there, I'm Ernest Fenson of LawFirm Autopilot.com with a short video tip for solo and small firm lawyers who want to improve their law firm operations. So let's talk about how to find answers to important questions you have about operations in your law practice. As lawyers, we're trained to do research in specialized databases like Westlaw, Lexis, or Fastcase. But those databases are for doing legal research and not for gathering general information. And yet the principles for searching and finding general information are the same. Let's talk about an actual situation where someone asked me if I could recommend a better system for gathering medical records. Now, if I had had to answer this question off the top of my head, I would have had to say, well, I don't gather medical records, so I don't have a system or know of one. But I didn't answer the question that way because I do have a system or method for gathering useful information. And by the way, here's the email that contained the question about the medical records. As you can see, the person feels frustrated by having to gather medical records. Now, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure of one thing. There are probably services that will gather medical records for attorneys, which is good news for anyone trying to do this and feeling frustrated, because it means that one can offload this task to a company that specializes in doing the job well. And they do it well because they specialize. That is, because they do this work routinely and constantly, they will do it much better than anyone who is doing this task only periodically. But how do you find out about services like that? The answer is do some general research. Now, you could do this using Google, and that's one way, and that's probably the first way that most people would think about. But what about other options like Facebook? You can search Facebook for discussions about this topic. Did you know that? Well, where in Facebook would you do this? And the answer is in Facebook groups. If you're a member of Facebook, you may have already joined some lawyer groups in there. LawFirm Autopilot has a Facebook group with about 1,000 members, so you could search there, and I'll show you what you can find there. But as I said, there are lots of lawyer groups in Facebook. So I went to one of those other groups to see what kind of discussions there were in there. And I did this by searching in the group for discussions about medical records retrieval and then seeing what came up. By doing the search in a Facebook group, I found a question by an attorney I know named John Fisher who had this precise question. So now I know something useful, and that is that a thoughtful, systems-driven lawyer like John Fisher is eager to outsource his records retrieval. That's good to know. And that's not something I'd have found by searching Google. So what else? Well, I see that John is focused on a particular company called National Records Retrieval. And now I want to know, what do other lawyers say in response to his question? Well, one lawyer gives John a recommendation for a company called Medline. So now we have two options that we can investigate. And then below that recommendation, another lawyer recommends Trio Records. So now we have three options. And we know that lawyers are satisfied with these services, at least the ones who recommended them. Now, as I said, LawFirm Autopilot has a Facebook group as well, and it appears that this question about medical records was asked in that group as well. And we can see yet another option that's recommended, one for a company called Legal Fulfillment Group based in Kansas City. And we see that they are highly recommended by at least one attorney. And here's one more option that was recommended in the LawFirm Autopilot Facebook group for a company called Reina Corp. So now we have a total of 5 options that we can investigate on our own. So now let's consider what we learned overall. We learned that we can find out answers to questions about improving our operations by searching generally. And of course, we can search in Google. This is the obvious option. But now we know that we can search in Facebook groups, which was perhaps less obvious. Now, what about bar association groups? Well, possibly, but in my experience, the discussions there aren't as robust as they are in Facebook groups. But finally, don't forget that you can reach out directly to attorneys that you know who might have experience with the problem you're trying to solve. And how do you get to know more of those kinds of attorneys? Well, there's lots of options online now. So don't forget about the benefits of joining these online Facebook groups. Now, for more information about improving your law practice, remember you can visit lawfirmautopilot.com. You'll find lots of great resources to help you work smarter by leveraging technology more effectively. And if you want to get notified when we post other videos like this one, you can click to subscribe in our YouTube channel. Hopefully, we'll be able to give you some more helpful tips in the future.